Amici del rock and roll, ci siamo anche questa settimana pronti con un sacco di contenuti super esclusivi per quanto riguarda la buona musica in circolazione. Riapriamo il format ROCKSVILLE, la città all'interno della quale noi ospitiamo un sacco di band super interessanti oggi. Sono molto contento di avere con me le due voci dei Blind Channel, ovvero Niko e Joel. How's it going, guys? Good to see you.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Doing
Nice
great.
to see you.
Welcome to ROCKSVILLE. This is actually a safe space for music. So we're gonna talk about Exit Emotion, the brand new album that is coming out March the 1st. What's the feeling so far about what you've done during the recording process and stuff? I can easily imagine you're super satisfied with what you're about to publish, but the very first words that comes to your mind when you think about this brand new chapter for your life. Joel, you want to start?
Yeah, the album is easily hands down the best album we've ever done. We created in many different cities. We were in LA, we were in London, we were in Berlin, in Helsinki, and we wrote the album with many people. So it's pretty international record from the start, and we're super proud of it. And we can't wait to let it all out and let people hear what we've been cooking for years.
Niko, I know that the international quote has always been part of Blind Channel. Obviously, it's great to have also success in your own country, but you always look forward. There was always like a next step for the band. It wasn't enough probably to just have so many supporters from Finland. So that's probably why you work so widely international speaking.
Yeah, I think it was obvious since the beginning when we started the band that we wanted an international career. All our influences came from mostly United States, but also from Europe, mostly outside Finland. And in Finland, we didn't have too many bands that had international careers, and it was just this teenage kind of dream to see the world, tour the world, and make a career out of music, a big career out of music. We're ambitious guys. We've always been. So I think it was just natural. It was just crystal clear. We didn't even talk about it really. There wasn't even a discussion to do it only in Finland or do it only in Finnish language or anything like that. It was just crystal clear from the beginning that when we started the band that we want to take this to an international level. Yeah.
I can easily understand that sometimes, the country boundaries are just, too tight. So you just want to explore something else. So far, because you started back in 2013, how much you gain from actually traveling the world? I know, like you said, Niko, the influences are right there. Obviously, all the records that we both collect and that we've been listening for years comes from those kind of countries. But actually seeing those countries, visiting those countries, talking to those different people, how much influence your songwriting and your production?
A lot for sure, and I think America has a lot of influence for us because we've been growing up listening to Linkin Park and Korn and Limp Bizkit and Slipknot and all of those bands. And when you go there in a real world, you go to the Hollywood, you meet the people, you go to Sunset Boulevard, you wipe the Rainbow Bar, and you see the Hollywood Hills, and you meet the people that are working there, they're natives and all that. So for sure, it gives you a lot of effect to your music, and it's an inspiration as well. So it means a lot that we got the chance to create this album partly in LA. So yeah,
I think that one of the most important quote that European bands has, if you compare to the US system, is that we always try to add something from our own culture. And there is one word that in every single article that talks about Blind Channel, it's out there, and it's the word darkness. obviously darkness is something that is deeply connected with, you know, inner emotions, but also the environment of the country you come from. When you tried to balance those image of darkness, working with people that actually live in California, like you said, Los Angeles and stuff like that. That's pretty far from our point of view. Which was the feeling? Which was the quote that you decided to add to the record, and probably to telling them we should do something more in, you know, this version, more than the typical atmosphere that you can probably find out in most of the US production. Niko, wanna get this one?
Yeah, um like obviously we spent a lot of time in the US during the making of the album, and we wanted to do songs for the American audience, the American radio, because we really enjoy that country and enjoy touring there. I think that song was like the first song to make to like start that game. We wrote it with this guy Johnny Andrews, who has been writing like many top 10 or number one singles for the US radio, and he like coached us to how to make that kinds of songs. But also like we I think an interesting part is because we're from Finland and the darkness is in our DNA, so we wrote this song called Wolves in California. It's on the record as well. We wrote it with Jason, the vocalist from Fever 333, and we wanted to write about our experiences in the U.S. Obviously, wolves in California, and there are no wolves in California. When we said we have wolves in Finland, everybody was just like, "Whoa!" And then, like, even though we talk about in that song, we talk about our experiences in the U.S., but it turned out to be a hype song for Finland, from where we're from. Like, I think my favorite line from the whole album is that it's from that song, and it goes, "The night is darkest just before the dawn, but where I'm from, the sun don't rise at all." And that's a line about Finland, and that's like that reflects our state of mind. And like we are the wolves in California. California didn't have no wolves, and like all kinds of crazy stuff.
That's great. That's a good sentence. That's a good image. Like you said, working with Johnny Andrews, that was like an extra step for you. He's been working with like 3 Days Grace, Motionless is White, A Storm, so many, you know, Billboard top bands. In particularly like 2024, how much you think it's important to get that kind of attention? I'm talking about the classical media, because we are doing this interview obviously online, but back in the days, like charts, radio, that's where I come from. Do you think that it still make the difference today from a specific audience, or is just a chance to get to another kind of audience that probably never gonna have the chance to cross path with Blind Channel? Joel.
Are you talking about like the original print and medias that used to be a big
Yeah.
thing? Like, yeah, okay. So I think yeah, for sure, online culture, social media is taking over super fast. So the world isn't the same anymore. That everyone is just scrolling their iPhones or Androids all the time, and like TikTok and Instagram has destroyed mainly the original medias. But I think still people are curious about the interviews, and radio is still a thing in America. Like everyone is driving a car and listening to Octane or some other big rock radio. So in America, radio is a big thing. And I don't know about Europe, but I guess it's still a big thing. For sure, streaming is the biggest platform for discovery of the new music, but still radio is a big thing.
Yeah, I usually say that probably radio, it's part of our listening path. It doesn't last. It's not enough. But at the same time, it's something that you got to deal with, especially when you're working on new album and new productions. So that was like part of Exit Emotion. But if you had to translate the feelings that are inside this record from the previews that you done, and from the lyrical content itself, because I'm talking to you guys, uh, which is the step you wanted to reach this time? Because you said it's the best record so far. So probably also lyrically speaking, and not only in the in the context of production, it has to be something more. So which are the improvement that you tried to envelop in this record, lyrically speaking?
Well, the first thing that you need to know about the new record is that between the previous record, Lifestyles of the Sick and Dangerous, and this one, we did over 200 shows. So like we did 3 tours in the US and 7 tours in Europe, and a lot of festival shows, all kinds of shows, over 200 shows. And that's something you can definitely see. Like the songwriting, everything happened like when we were on tour or doing shows. So this is the first album we approach from a live perspective, and that also has to do with the title of the album, Exit Emotions, because like it feels like the past couple of years the world's been a pretty dark place, like a lot of shit happening, like internationally, globally, and in our personal lives, everything. Like the world has been a pretty dark place. And when we got this, like our first breakthrough with Dark Side, people have been turning to us like they want some political like opinions and stuff like that. And like we try to remind them that we're not the right people to answer those questions, because we're artists, we're entertainers, and that's not our part to like, even no matter how much we wanted to like say something, we're not the right people to do that. But what we can offer is that small moment of escape, and that is the live shows. This is an album we approach from a live perspective. So when we go on stage, it's like therapy for us. We exit our emotions, those bad things going on all over and over. We exit our emotions for a little while, just to live in the moment for just a little while. And that's something we want to offer to the audience as well with this album. Like no matter what bad stuff is going on in your life, come to our show, let's exit emotions for a moment and just live in that moment. And I think that's the main purpose, like lyrically and thematically, behind this album.
You're talking about live shows. Live show, obviously, they were important for the last years, but they're gonna be important mainly for this upcoming record. You gotta come back to Italy. That's a great news. April 15 in Milan. How much you've been working on the show? Because you said the album, it's in that kind of vibe. You said we work on songs to also figure out how they're gonna work live. So if you compare also the live show and the set list that so far has been part of your career before Exit Emotions, how much that will change in the perspective of this upcoming tour?
I think we are gonna play the whole album live. The whole Exit Emotions album will be played live on this tour. So yeah, we are mainly promoting the new album, but there's still, the set list is so long. There's gonna be a lot of older songs from the Lifestyles and maybe from the Wild and Pop and all that. So yeah, it was our decision that we wanted to play the whole album live on those shows, and it's really important for us that we can promote and order that whole thing for the audience. That's the main point of this whole tour.
It's not easy to decide to actually play the brand new songs, because there was a past, and there was a history of the band. So it's always challenging, and the idea of yourself challenging as a band, it's probably one of the things that I like the most about Blind Channel. You never said that's enough for us. You always want to push yourself forward, and that's probably the reason why Exit Emotion is so let me say this, complex in terms of production and in terms of how much you spent on working for the record. Is there something that like a crucial point on your career when you said something will actually change from this point to beyond? And if there's another point to reach, which will it be in your, like, thinking about the next future?
I think that like Well, we have a lot of those points. Like I think each album we make, each tour is like a chapter, and during that chapter you do your best at the time, but you also learn a lot. And then like I think everything is about like evolving and getting better at what you do. Like I think we've grown as artists, as songwriters, as musicians, as performers with every tour, every album, every like this major step we made. We've kept like growing, evolving, and getting better and better. And I think you're never ready. Like you can never be like, I don't see we ever gonna complete it. Like it's this is the perfect one. It's just the perfect one at the moment, the best you can do. But like yeah, like you need to always challenge yourself, and I think we're gonna keep challenging ourselves as long as we have this band going on. Then maybe someday if Blind Channel like takes a big break or hiatus, or we stop, whatever, like that's when we like can like see the whole journey and see how much we evolved and what happened. But like I think as long as we keep doing this, we're gonna keep challenging ourselves and getting, we want to get better at what we do. Like that's the point of doing this, to me at least. Yeah.
In terms of getting better, you share the stage with so many bands all around the world. I always considering the fact of supporting or having bands supporting you like a little lesson. Like you can actually learn, or let me say a bad word about it, steal something from a show, from a performance. Also in terms of how bands are managed, how they work on stage with their crew and stuff. If you think about the journey of Blind Channel, is there any band that you actually share the stage with that was more influential than somebody else on your workflow as professional performers?
That's a hard question. The only band that came to my mind is maybe Electric Cowboy, because they blew up so fast. They blew up like when we made the first tour with them, 2022 in the spring. I felt that they weren't that big yet. They were just about to blow up. We Got the Moves just came out, and everyone was talking about them. They had this bubbling under thing, and all suddenly they were everywhere. They were selling out arenas like in every fucking country. So I don't know if I answer your question, but I'm just trying to say that we were so impressed that their live show and the production came from here to here in 1 year, and they managed to sell out all the venues, all the arenas in every fucking country in the world, and that's so impressive. And we are proud to call them our friends, and we really hope that we can do some things with them in the future as well.
We're gonna try to support you as much as we can. Talking about in the relationship with the fan base, somebody's gotta say that it's a job. It's a job because you gotta take care of them now more than like 20 years ago, because there are more connection with you. We were like Joel said, we're all on social media like 24/7. So we should be considered as available, more reachable from a certain point of view. How do you deal with that? Is there a moment for the band to actually shut down social media to concentrate on the work, or it's a constant relationship that you don't want to miss, especially with your supporter? I'm not talking about social media in general, but just the connection with your own crowd.
I think like, well, we have this like these small periods of time when we try to like avoid social media. It's usually when nothing is happening, when we have this like a different kind of bubbling under kind of thing, that we're in the studio, or we're like we're getting everything ready for a release or something like that. Then we usually take small breaks, and we usually talk about them with the guys and make a schedule like, okay, now let's stay silent just to make the impact bigger when we finally release something. I think usually it's been easy to live with the social media well, because we have a lot going on all the time. Joel is our like social media guru. He takes, it's his responsibility, and he like he does such a great job with the social media for the whole band, and like he's very good at it. And we have a lot of things happening all the time, so that's when it's easy to connect with the fans because you have something to say. Like I think we do less and less the things like I had a Pepsi Max today, like no one cares about that. But when we have tours and new songs and music videos, cool things happening, I think that's when the social media presence or the connection with the fan base, it's a lot easier. I do have a Twitter where I like I do movie reviews sometimes and roasts and whatever. But like I think the most important thing is that when things are happening with the band, we also communicate it with the fan base.
Yeah, that's important. One last question before I let you out. It's important to underline the fact that Exit Emotion. I had the chance to listen to the record. I really like it. There are so many different quotes coming from so many different genres. That's another part of Blind Channel that I really like to underline, from pop to urban. If we might play this game, like, can you name me maybe one artist that it's not so out there in the sound of Blind Channel that you like to listen to, and then probably in some kind of reason actually made it squeezing all through the production and the song itself?
Damn, these questions are hard.
I think we have one good one that actually started the whole album, and it starts the album. The song called "Where's the Exit." We were actually inspired by Swedish house mafia's Greyhound.
Oh yeah,
That was the
you got it.
inspiration behind that song. We wanted to know how the electronic dance music, like club disco kind of banger, would feel to be played on an electric guitars, heavy electric guitars, and that's how "Where's the Exit." That was kind of like the guideline for the whole album. So I think that's a special one.
That's great. That's a good answer. So we're gonna definitely wait for the record coming out March the 1st. The Blind Channel, Exit Emotion. The live set will be in Milan, April 15th. So everybody will be there. Thank you so much for your time, guys.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye.
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 Bye bye.